Hi, everyone. Please be seated. Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say, and welcome to everybody. We're so thrilled that you could join us for what amounts to be a pretty special day. We're going to talk about why, but we are super excited, and I personally am excited because this marks a monumental kind of milestone in our journey in medical education. And we'll get to that here momentarily. But let me start by introducing myself. I'm Jaewon Ryu. I'm the president and CEO at Geisinger. I'm an ER physician by training, but I am so proud today to be kicking off our celebration of our first ever Geisinger Commonwealth Day. And part of that, and probably the featured part of that, is to install our new dean, Dr. Julie Byerly, who's not so new anymore, I might add, because she's been with us now for 8 going on 9 months. And a lot has happened in that time, and we're thrilled that she could join us from North Carolina with her family, with Mike. And it's just been a tremendous addition to these communities and to what we do at Geisinger. It's a special day because what the medical school has accomplished over these last 15 years has been spectacular. The impact that it has had on healthcare in this community and really what it was intended to do from the outset when the vision was first cast from all of the founders and the community folks that were involved. I think it's every bit lived up to that vision and then some. And we know that it's going to continue to do so, and we're super thrilled to have you here to celebrate. But we do have some folks in the audience that I want to shout out and give some recognition because they played a pivotal role in this history. First, I'd like to acknowledge the school's founders who are among us today. Please accept our gratitude, and if you could stand, I think I saw a few of you mingling earlier, but if you could stand where you are so that folks can recognize you. And I think many of them, if not all of them, are well known to so many of you in the community, as they should be, because it was their vision and the initial discussions from 15 years ago that led to what we're seeing here today. So I always compare it to the twinkle in the eye was in these eyes, and today we're here to see the fruits of all of that that's happened over the 15 years that is past and many, many more years to come in the future. I also want to recognize members of the Geisinger Board of Directors and the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine Board of Directors. I see Heather in the front row, Heather Acker. I know Virginia McGregor, who joins us here on the stage. I don't know if there are any other members of the board in attendance, but if you could also stand and please accept our gratitude. And we also have many public officials who were also very closely involved with the success of this medical school, both at its launch, but also today. This covers folks who are local, statewide, and in Washington, along with many behind-the-scenes supporters for all they did to help us in building this medical school and continuing on its journey. Please also stand, if you would, so that we can recognize you all as well. Also want to acknowledge Dr. Robert Alessandri, Dr. Robert Wright, Dr. Lois Nora, and Dr. Steve Scheinman for their leadership as deans throughout the years. And I think Steve is here with us today. Steve, I don't know, there you are. And I also want to acknowledge and thank the Guthrie folks and the AtlantiCare folks as serving as our two extended campuses, if you will. We know that medical students benefit from those teaching sites as they do all the others, but they have been tremendous partners on this educational journey for us as well. And so want to also thank many other partners who have played a role in educating our various classes of medical students over the years. It takes a village, and I think each and every one of these physician educators across these systems and independent practices have been so instrumental. So thank you to all of you as well. I also want to thank our donors and friends in the community. And by now, we're thanking a lot of people, and hopefully you're getting the sense that it really is a medical school that's been made possible through the efforts of so many in the communities. And I think that's what's wonderful about Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, but it's also what's wonderful about Geisinger. So thank you to all of the supporters, the donors, the family, the friends, the neighbors, loved ones across the communities, because you have made this all possible. And lastly, I want to thank members of the Geisinger family. And I know that there are a lot of members from the executive team here, but also a lot of other employees that work throughout the Geisinger system. Big, big thank you. And of course, thank you to the faculty, staff, and students. If you all could stand as well, and I think there are a bunch of them already standing, but for those of you on this side of the room, if you could stand and also be recognized. I also want to introduce some folks who are with me on the stage today. Our Geisinger Commonwealth Board Chair, Virginia McGregor, who I referenced earlier. She's sitting right next to me, and I know she and I know all of you who know Virginia know that she is super passionate about the Scranton community, but also about this medical school, and we are lucky to have her leading us as our board chair, and she has joined us. Also, Dr. Tom Chirilla, who is member of the original charter class and currently works as a radiation oncologist, I should say, here locally, probably personifies what a lot of this medical school was envisioned to be, which is training future doctors, bringing them right back into the communities. So Dr. Tom Chirilla is here. We'll hear from him momentarily. And also embracing our future is future doctor Eshimomo Osalama, who is a member of the M3 class, I believe, so took time out of all of his clinical rotations to join us, but also in a unique position to speak about the value of the school because he's a member of the master's class of 2019, and so has seen the lens of our education through a couple different channels. And of course, last but not least, Dr. Byerly, who will be formally installed as president and dean, and has already accomplished so much since joining us in January. And she'll say some things here momentarily as well. In reflecting on our history, I want to say a couple things, and I know we want to get going with the program, but history is important, and the past is important because oftentimes it informs where you're going. And I think that is especially the case here. The stories behind the start of this medical school are nothing short of amazing. I personally wasn't around back in 2009, but hearing the stories of how this community came together through the vision of the folks that we mentioned earlier, since then that has produced and had quite an impact. We have 853 physician graduates as a result of that vision. We have 883 Masters of Biomedical Sciences that have been conferred. 52 of our own students have matched into Geisinger residencies, and 12 are currently attending physicians within the Geisinger system. 34 are practicing locally, which is, again, the goal and intent originally envisioned at the onset of this medical school. That number will go up and should go up, by the way, as we see the impact of the Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program. We are now at about 40 to 45% of every class that goes through medical school tuition supported through Geisinger, with a expectation of a year of commitment to Geisinger after training for every year of support that they get. And so that will continue to add to those numbers. And I also think it's worth mentioning that this is good news for the students, for the communities, of course for Geisinger, but really for all of us as part of this medical school. Together, the school and the system are improving the quality of academic work, and part of that is embodied in the integration between research and education, which has been something that Dr. Byerly has been working on quite a bit since she got here. But a couple factoids about our research institute, which many of you may not know. Our research institute just in 2021 alone was responsible for over 1,000 publications. So you could say we outpunch our weight class because we're not one of these big institutional research engines, but at the same time we're able to leverage about $53 million of external funding. We have about 400 faculty and staff that work hard on research projects such as MyCode, which is our genomic program, as well as being right there for learners to take advantage and learn about research as well. The Medical Research Honors Program is one example where medical students can apply and take part in research, because that's a key part of educating for the advances of tomorrow. And so we're super happy that that integration has taken place. And I think all of these things position us well to embrace the future that's ahead, not just in medical education, but also in healthcare. And Dr. Byerly has already made great strides in doing that. And today is a big step, continuing on that journey. And the close alignment between the medical school and what we do at Geisinger is a big part of our focus going forward. Many of you know that Geisinger is focused on upstream, prevention, getting care models into places that aren't solely dependent on downstream environments like the ER or the hospital. We're also keen on taking care of entire populations of people, because that's how communities are formed, that they're made up of populations of people, and we think that that's when communities really benefit from our work. So all of these things are reasons why this is such a momentous day. Like I said before, we are very thrilled to be able to share that with you and have you share that with us. But for now, let me go ahead and introduce and welcome our Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine Board Chair, and I am willing to bet probably the most passionate supporter of this place of anybody you will ever meet. So Virginia McGregor, if you can join me, and I'll hand over the mic to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rue. To my fellow board members, colleagues, students, and friends, thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Geisinger and the Board of Directors of the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, it's an honor and a privilege to be here today with you, because this is truly an historic occasion. Our first ever Geisinger Commonwealth Day and the installation of our new president and dean, Dr. Julie Byerly. As someone who has supported the school and have been a champion of it since it was just an idea, I want you to know how proud I am of how far we've come. As Dr. Rue said, the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine is the crown jewel of northeastern Pennsylvania. It benefits our region and our community in so many ways. First, we're attracting young and talented people into the fields of medicine, which our country greatly needs. Second, we're training doctors that our region needs and that in turn improves our community's health and well-being. And third, we're making our local economy stronger and more diverse. And as a lifelong resident of northeastern Pennsylvania, I thank you for being part of that. For example, in addition to this gorgeous building we stand inside of today, our School of Medicine sparked a downtown Scranton building boom that renovated underutilized properties downtown, creating more than 400 apartments and loft housing units and numerous new restaurants. We also added more than 500 students to the downtown business district each year, which supports not only our community, but also our local businesses. But our students present has meant so much more than that. Simply put, to our students, you should know that you make our lives better. You're helping with health education, you're introducing wellness initiatives, and you're improving our quality of life. These improvements come in so many forms. Our students host health fairs and fundraisers back to our community through charity work and social outreach. In fact, in 2014, researchers found that our students alone generated almost $2 million in philanthropic activity. When this school merged with Geisinger in 2017, we expanded all those benefits throughout the region. Every year, our Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program seats 45 new primary care physicians and psychiatrists who commit to stay here and to serve our communities. Simple math means there are 180 new doctors in our school right now who in just a few short years will be caring for our family, our friends, and our neighbors, and making better health easy right here at home. It's only fitting that today is yet one more step in a brighter future. We will always remember how our community came together to make what was once an impossible dream a reality. With that in mind, we'll dream big and know that anything is possible. And today we embrace our future. I know that Dr. Byerly will soon share a vision that will inspire you as much as it has inspired me. But first, let's hear from our charter class member, Dr. Tom Turilla, an extremely bright young man who believed in the power of his community and took a chance on its new school. Dr. Turilla is now a radiation oncologist at Northeast Radiation Oncology Centers. After graduating in 2013 from our medical school, Dr. Turilla completed his radiation oncology residency at Fox Chase Center in Philadelphia. He has won multiple awards, is board certified in radiation oncology, and has presented and published numerous clinical research studies. Today, he also volunteers to teach and mentor current medical students and serves as our alumni on our alumni board. Dr. Turilla?
Thank you for that kind introduction, Ms. McGregor, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to join you on this inaugural Geisinger Commonwealth Day. I'd first like to thank Dean Julie Byerly and the organizing committee for the opportunity to share my experiences. I would also like to congratulate Dr. Byerly on her installation and celebration of the School of Medicine. I'm very much looking forward to seeing her exciting ideas come to fruition. The School of Medicine holds a special place in my heart, having been raised here in Scranton. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to attend GCSOM as a member of the charter class. Prior to matriculation, when I was in undergrad, my father would clip every Scranton Times article about the proposed medical college and give it to me. I'll be honest, I had my doubts about feasibility and what were the odds the timeline would coincide with my graduation. Well, not only did the timeline work out, but I was sold on the opportunity from the day I first interviewed. The founders' proposed program was novel, innovative, and we as early members of the school had a unique opportunity to shape the direction of the school. Most importantly, the community support was palpable from local physicians and residents alike. I've been given so much in opportunity and mentorship along my medical training journey. My hope is that I might give a fraction of that back to the generations of students that follow. Early in med school, I met some community physicians at Northeast Radiation Oncology Centers, or NROC, who were involved with the medical college. Our curriculum allowed me to explore radiation oncology in clinic, participate in summer research projects. I fell in love with the specialty. After residency, I was then grateful to have the opportunity to join these mentors now as their colleague at NROC. The prospect of collaborating with the School of Medicine was the deciding factor for my wife Tara and I to return to the area. Research opportunities provided through this school and through NROC promoted my growth as an investigator and bolstered my residency application. Now, I've been thrilled to work with students in the Summer Research Immersion Program every cycle since joining NROC, and I've been impressed with their passion, drive, and work ethic. In particular, two students I worked with during the previous summer, Rachel Simon and Carly Brash, remain actively involved in their project and are currently drafting a full manuscript for submission to Medical Journal despite their busy M3 curriculum. It's really been a dream come true to hold a mentorship role in the very same program I was a summer student not too long ago. As an alumnus, I'm proud to say we're able to establish an Alumni Society Board beginning in 2020 under the direction of Robin Endicott, Chris Boland, and many others. This society represents a vital link among students and alumni and currently comprises 16 alumni along with 3 students. We've been able to help coordinate regional engagement events across the state, and we're planning to roll out software to help connect alumni with current students. Work is ongoing, and we expect the society to flourish given the enthusiasm to date. Looking back, what I hadn't realized at the time about my father clipping the Scranton Times articles was that this was a microcosm of the tremendous excitement and enthusiasm from the community with the school. My father was a single dad after losing my mother to lung cancer when I was 9 years old. He too passed from cancer during my first year of med school. He was a brilliant auto mechanic with no formal education, but dreamt of higher aspirations for me. One of the last celebratory moments we shared was my white coat ceremony, held down the street at Lackawanna College before the advent of this beautiful medical sciences building. I see my father and every patient, friend, family member, and acquaintance of this area that excitedly asks about the state and the progress of the medical college. Geisinger is taking this community vision and elevating it to heights that our founders have dreamed it would be. As Zach Brown and his band so eloquently states in their song Roots, my roots always keep me grounded, roots remind me where I'm from. Even when I'm 1,000 miles away from my roots, I'm home. I'm thrilled to see these community roots alive and well, and I share in the excitement in this next chapter of the School of Medicine. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Eshimomo Osalama. Momo is a current third-year medical student at GCSOM and former president of the Medical Student Council. I've also had the privilege of working with him as a student representative of the Alumni Board. Introducing him fulfills the hopes I had when I enrolled in a brand new medical school in 2009. The charter class didn't know where the road would lead us back then, but we all had hoped future students would care about the community and school as much as we did. I'm proud to say that Momo is such a student. Please join me in welcoming Momo to the podium.
Thank you, everyone. Before I speak, I would like to present this bouquet of flowers to President Byerly on behalf of the community. Thank you, Dr. Churla. I feel so humbled to be speaking before you all at this, our community's first Geisinger Commonwealth Day event. For obvious reasons, and I say this with the... Are you good? Okay. For obvious reasons, and I say this with the excruciating fear of sounding cliche, for me, sustaining a sense of belonging as a student and community member over the past 2.5 years hasn't been easy. And I am certain this is a sentiment many, if not all of you, can understand. So experiencing events like these more and more often, where we can come together to celebrate our community and one another, has been so revitalizing. I believe having traditions like these is integral to shaping the long-term culture and identity of an institution like ours that has and continues to go through so much incredible change and growth. And Dr. Churla, in his status as a member of our charter class, represents this transformation. He didn't know at the time of our conception that he would stand here today celebrating the success of an untried school built on the dreams of the community. Yet now we all accept the story which was anything but certain as inevitable. The theme for this celebration is honoring our past, embracing our future. As I come to terms with the reality that I am now very firmly in my late 20s, 30 is scary, y'all. Over the past few years, it has been impressed upon my mind and my spirit how quickly what I know to be the future becomes the present, and then how much faster still the present becomes the past. It's something I'm grappling with, and I'm too slowly learning to accept. I haven't decided yet if this is something that I need to bring up with Sean Andress. And if you don't know who Sean Andress is, probably need to meet with him. But in trying to properly honor my past and embrace my future, I am consequently met with a daunting challenge. How do I fulfill my present? How do I keep from losing myself amidst these fleeting moments? When I let go, how can I be sure that this thing that I was once embracing has become a thing I can now honor? I pose these questions to you all because as I am standing here giving these remarks, I don't know that I necessarily have the right or the most comprehensive answers. Dignity in the Details, a poem by one of our very own, Ms. Kara Romanowski, a current fourth-year medical student, shines some light on this mystery. I hold out both my hands to catch the details of your life. A former lover, a favorite pet, a faraway granddaughter. I put them in my pocket for safekeeping, for the moments when you find yourself lost. I can't help but wonder if I will lose myself. When a human being becomes bed 19, an entire life tucked behind a diagnosis. You interrupt me mid-thought. Right on cue, you start to smile. John C., Buddy the Kitten, Sabrina from Seattle. Kara's poem a reflection on her desire to recall the details of the life of a patient of hers suffering from dementia, was selected to receive the first place prize for creative writing at this year's annual Family Medicine Education Consortium meeting. In her piece, as she extends herself to her patient for the sake of authenticating the care she's able to provide, there is also a lingering hope that the patient would reciprocate the gesture. They form a sacred and communal tie, a harmony that not only humanizes the patient, but firmly grounds Kara in the present moment, in a moment when she wonders whether she'll lose herself. When I reflect on the past decade or so of my life, there is an overabundance in moments when I felt directionless, moments when I felt justifiably disenfranchised, moments I feared would become time I had wasted. Those moments bubble up to the forefront of my memory without reticence. But time and time again, I have found, as Kara found in her poem, that the moments when I felt most fulfilled were when I had the opportunity to authentically know, to learn from, to serve, and to be edified and inspired by the people around me. There is a distinct rarity, beauty, and privilege in finding relationships that allow for experiencing vulnerability, sanctuary, and nourishment. Spaces for sharing one another's joys and sorrows. Whether with peers, preceptors, or patients, relationships like these, those I already have in my life and those I have yet to forge, are what spur me. In particular, with my empty class of 2024, and reminiscing even further back to my MBS class of 2019, I think about what it is we've been able to do for one another and for our community over the past 2 years, which goes beyond just student leadership meetings, free pizza, or cultural bazaars. I think about the diversity of our talents, our academic prowess, the span of our clinical and research interests, our ability to find ways to connect with one another despite the looming omnipresence of a global malady, or the harrows and monotony of Zoom school. I think about the times we've come together to celebrate the birth of new life or to care for one another through loss. Altogether, I'm realizing that the fulfillment of my present is not wholly determined by my individual resolve, but rather in counting myself a member of a community, of this community. Being here in this moment right now with all of you amidst the gratitude and intimacy that we're able to cultivate among ourselves honors and validates the journeys that brought us here, while also granting hope and helping us embrace what still lies ahead. Thank you.
Well, thank you, future doctor. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Will Dr. Byerly please approach the podium? Julie Byerly, by the authority vested in me as Chair of the Board of Trustees of the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, I hereby install you as President and Dean of the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine with all rights and responsibilities obtaining hereto. Everyone, please join us in celebrating Dr. Byerly.
Joy and inspiration it is to be here at this place, at this moment, with these dedicated people. I am so honored to serve as Dean of Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. I am grateful to the support of so many of you who have made this day a reality. And I would especially like to thank my husband and parents here on the front row. My personal work would not be possible without their love and attention. My sons are not able to be here today because they are busy using their talents to make this world a better place in their own ways. I'm very proud of them, and they are here in my heart. Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine is such a special place, built by the community as Virginia so passionately described, where we engage with students as promising as Momo, to graduate brilliant physicians like Tom, and to be supported by Geisinger, a system genuinely working to make better health easier. As I look around and I see our students, our staff and faculty, board members, system leaders, advisory committee members, donors, friends, our colleagues in higher education, and super importantly, our academic leadership team, thank you. I know that what we have happening here is really very special. As you know, today we are celebrating our past and embracing our future. The past that we celebrate includes those 10 years of physician graduates serving people and populations in our regions and beyond. Our past includes those master's alums, the majority of whom are also on their way to be physicians. Our past includes the faculty and staff from this area, from Atlantic City, from Sayre, from Williamsport, at practices and clinics here and elsewhere. And as we bring together the academic enterprise across Geisinger, not just from our curriculum here, but throughout the health system, our past also includes thousands of residency program graduates who are now in practice. Our past includes hundreds of pharmacists, nurses, advanced care providers, therapists of various disciplines, and many, many others who have learned from our patients, supervised by our employed and volunteer faculty and staff. The impact on our region is tremendous. Yet, there is so much more to do. Our people in our communities continue to suffer. We suffer from illness, from problems we have recognized for decades, and from diseases we have just come to know. We suffer from health problems influenced heavily by the social determinants, influenced by poverty, by racism, by food insecurity, by violence, by structural factors we could potentially control, and by genetic factors we cannot control and we are just beginning to understand. Large numbers of our people suffer from mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and more. There is so much to do to improve health and well-being here in Northeast Pennsylvania and throughout our world. Though these challenges can feel overwhelming at times, the inspiration of this place is that all of us together, we can make a difference. We are making a difference, and we can have an even greater impact. Thus, we embrace a future that blends science and service to improve health and well-being through an academic enterprise that serves our region with inspiration, innovation, education, and discovery, all with the goal of making better health easier. I am thrilled to announce today that our academic enterprise is coming together under one conceptual umbrella of the Geisinger College of Health Sciences. Under this umbrella, we will align our educational programs in the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine with our training programs for nurses, residents, and other learners in the health professions, plus the powerhouse research machine at Geisinger. We will be a modern academic health system that addresses today's challenges while we prepare the workforce ready to face tomorrow's healthcare needs. We will leverage our integrated health system to yield learning objectives to drive our teaching and to identify research questions that stimulate much needed discovery. We will be a magnet to bring vibrant, talented faculty and staff to our region, to educate a diverse group of learners who will advance value-based care accountable to our community. We will focus on the future as we aspire to drive the national conversation in modern academic medicine. We have, for each of you today, a commemorative umbrella to celebrate this moment of maturation in our enterprise. It was a profound decision to get you an umbrella, wasn't it? So if you can receive your umbrella with the Geisinger College of Health Sciences name on it over here after our ceremony, and as you tour throughout our building, there are lots of other hidden goodies that we hope you'll take advantage of after our celebration here is complete. So the umbrella organization of Geisinger College of Health Sciences will not be a building, but rather a conceptual connection bringing together the academic work throughout the Geisinger enterprise. Let me tell you a little bit about the resources that we have under our umbrella of the college. First, based in a clinical enterprise providing cutting-edge care, at the Geisinger College of Health Sciences, we have the resources of our patients. Our patients teach our learners and contribute to our science so generously. We're grateful for that. We have the resources of expert clinicians as faculty. Our interprofessional clinical teams focus on mastering health system science by utilizing data with a constant focus on improvement, while providing value-based care, prioritizing prevention rather than simply treating disease. We have amazing resources in research, such as our scientists leading MyCode, for example, where we are sequencing the DNA of 250,000 people and using our sophisticated resources in informatics to identify the potential consequences of genetic variation in order to screen and intervene earlier, before major health problems develop, preventing problems like cancer from becoming life-threatening. On the horizon, we have more in genetics, more work in data, essential attention to ethics, and more discovery on timely topics such as medical marijuana and the effectiveness of nudges to influence behavior. Our research is focused on problems that must be addressed today. The research resources of Geisinger are added to the work of the faculty focused on our medical student and master's students here in our building, and together will allow for nearly all of our students to pursue scholarly work, improving diagnosis, treatment, quality, or implementation of evidence-based care. This will inspire their careers as lifelong learners, challenging the status quo and creating a mindset focused on improvement. I am also very excited to announce today that the nursing school at Geisinger Lewistown Hospital is coming under our umbrella also. The nursing school at Geisinger Lewistown Hospital is coming under the umbrella of Geisinger College of Health Sciences, and beginning next year, nursing students will earn an associate's degree rather than a diploma, as the accreditation of the nursing program transitions from the hospital to the college. The nursing school will continue to be based in Lewistown, and maintain its long-standing goal of developing a nursing workforce for that community. And all these faculty in the many health professions and our scientists will benefit from shared resources in faculty development through our soon-to-launch Academy of Educators. This collaborative group, the Academy of Educators, will facilitate relationships leading to the sharing of ideas, recognition of the shared purpose in education, and mitigating burnout of our teachers. Under the umbrella of the Geisinger College of Health Sciences, we will continue to grow our educational programs. And as we grow, let me reassure our partners in higher education that we have no desire to replace your programs. We will absolutely continue to work alongside you, sharing resources, facilitating clinical placements, and collaborating together to build resilience in the people of our region. There is plenty of room for each of us to work together to produce a workforce in our region focused on bolstering health. In fact, I hope that we will collectively aspire to inspire the young people in our communities into the health profession pathway. We hope to expand our Reach High program that engages middle and high school students. We are eager to partner with school systems and youth-focused organizations to help a diverse array of young people see themselves succeeding as doctors or as others in healthcare or as scientists. As technology and efficiencies evolve the workforce that we need, healthcare will remain a place where humans will always be needed to care for other humans. There are so many opportunities for people to help people. Here at this building, at this special place, Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine will continue to do what our founders envisioned. We will educate doctors for our region, and we will do it well. We will ensure that we produce doctors not only with the basic clinical and health system science skills needed to be competent, but also we will graduate individuals who demonstrate and maintain the compassion and empathy that optimal service as physicians demand. Thanks to the support from Geisinger, we will expand programs like the transformative investment in the Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program to cultivate those that we need to serve the people of our region and to encourage our students to become leaders here in our communities for the long term. We see that as we embrace our future. Today, we embrace a future of possibility here in Scranton and beyond. We embrace a future of improved health and well-being, supported by a vibrant and growing health profession workforce. We embrace a vision of alignment, working together in diverse, inclusive, interprofessional teams with aspirations toward equity and wellness. We embrace a future that advances cutting-edge science that makes a difference in the lives of people we together serve. We embrace a future of opportunity targeted to the greater good. We embrace the future of Geisinger College of Health Sciences. Thank you.
It's my very distinct pleasure to introduce the the men's and women's a cappella groups, the female group named Cerebellas and the male group named the Geisingers. This performance with them inaugurates my 5th year singing with them, and it's been such a pleasure and such an honor to see the group change and grow, and so, yeah, we'll be singing for you guys today.
Now I don't want you back for